For the longest time, top leaders and achievers in their fields have approached me to find out how they can uncover their purpose. You might think that that's a little bit odd because they can achieve so many things already. Why should they need to identify their purpose? Well, there are many reasons for it, and I'm just going to go through this video to share with you how they go through the process of uncovering their life purpose, how you can use it, and hopefully how you can share this with other people so that they can elevate their life. My name is Stuart Tan. Over the last 29 years, I've been a speaker and trainer, and I've spoken to well over 500,000 people, by now probably across more than that. And one of the things I've discovered is a lot of people go through life without knowing what their purpose is. Mark Twain once said, there are two important moments in your life: the moment you are born and the moment you discover why. This is important because when you are going through the mill, I like to say that in Singapore there are many places where people are just like the walking dead. They just go through life, waking up, dressing up, going to work, and that's about it. They come back, have a shower, they sleep, and they continue that cycle all over again. Unfortunately, this is just zombification of society. Yet today, a lot of things that are happening are going to have to force us to unearth our purpose. The purpose is about why you do what you do, and a lot of the time it's linked to events in your life, thoughts and predominant beliefs that you have, and past themes and patterns in your life that you encountered that you've maybe not unearthed before. I liken it to going to a gold mine and trying to excavate all the valuable gold that's underneath there, but you have to dig really deep in order to get bigger and bigger nuggets based on wherever you can find that gold vein. So how do you find this golden vein? Firstly, utilize a life chart. I remember going through a training program with the Academy of Singapore Teachers, and teachers who are burnt out would go for a program called Growing From Within. And in this program, they utilize this golden vein approach by listing down a life chart, going through their peaks and troughs in their life to uncover what they learned and how they made decisions at the highest of their life and at the lowest of their life. These decisions that they made help to uncover a lot more about how they think and how they operate. This therefore enables them to learn lessons about what thematic decisions and choices they had that caused them to stumble and fall, and those where it enabled them to actually thrive. And again, they may have thrived at a certain point of time, but through life, they may have changed their patterns of thinking that led them to less effective approaches. So let's just say through a life charting approach, you just need to simply draw a line and mark the ups and downs in your life to see which ones are positive and which ones are negative, and explain what you made as decisions during just prior to the highest highs and lowest lows, and also identify how you felt and what kinds of themes happen across that lifeline. Through this process, it gives you a little bit more insight into the depths of the emotions you encountered and how you actually interpreted them. There are many ways to utilize this chart. Number one, you can take a look at your past experiences and ask yourself whether you could make different decisions. Number two, you can uncover the emotions that are predominant in your life, and these predominant emotions are likely to creep up again, so that we can create a plan of action in order to move you in a way where you can manage those emotions much better. And number three, you can identify triggering situations that cause those emotions to go awry and enable you to have a better sense of emotional regulation. The next thing that I do to uncover purpose and why is to utilize a values checklist. Now, if you'd like to download a PDF, just go to the description box down below and download the PDF on values clarification. It's a very simple process. You take a list of all these values, you cross out the things that don't resonate with you, and you identify and prioritize the ones that do. And then, if you want a deep dive, you can go through a process of asking yourself why these things are so important to you. Look back on your lifeline and ask yourself where you learned all of these from. So this process is actually quite a simple and straightforward values clarification process. The words are just meant to be trigger words to help you to uncover what exactly are your top priorities. I highly recommend you narrow it down to your top 5 or 10, depending on the amount of time that you have for your reflections. Once you've identified the reasons why these are so important to you, and you take a look back on history, moments of modeling. Now, what are moments of modeling? So let's just say that you had the experience of believing that honesty is a top value for you. Where did you learn that from? Go back to the period 0 to 7 years old and start identifying key critical experiences that you had with your primary caregivers, particularly those whom you resonate with the most. So essentially, there are going to be a few categories. You have your parents and your family members. You have people who influenced you, primarily role models in an education setting where you spend most of your time. People that you've met and not met that you tend to look up to. And there's also another category, which are people that you loathe or you disrespect or you dislike. Now, of all of these 5 different categories, what you need to do is, for your parents, make a list of all of their positive traits and their negative traits. And then check in with that list and ask yourself whether you own any of them. In other words, do you also carry these traits? Next, take a look at your role models. Usually there'll always be positive checklists of items, and ask yourself how many of them are you aiming or aspiring towards developing. Take a look at the checklist of those that you dislike or disrespect and ask yourself, what are those top values that you have a conflict over? And chances are you're going to find yourself moving away from those value sets. As a coach, what I will do is uncover some of these, and then we'll have discussions surrounding it in order for you to recognize why you do what you do. A lot of the time though, these are unconsciously installed. And if this is something that you no longer want to have in your mind, then you'll need to find ways to install better and more effective and more powerful purposes. This is where your role models, your positive role models, will come into the picture. And yes, there are methods that will help you to recalibrate that and update the value sets that are inside of your mind. So the end result with many of my clients is that they move from a point of fogginess and uncertainty, maybe even stagnation, to a certain experience of focus, clarity, renewed motivation, and vigor. The reason why this happens is because the answers are not out there. You don't have to search for yourself in the Himalayas. You are here, and wherever you go, there you are. The key is that you've always gone to places that don't quite serve you. And my job as a coach and a mentor is to help you to uncover those things that you have possibly been afraid to look out for. And this is one of the reasons why we tend not to look out for our purpose. We have this sense of fear that whatever it is that we confront is going to cause a lot of chaos in our lives. What I can say though, it's like moving to a new house. Your old house needs to be unpacked and then move to a new place, but your new place needs to be built and or renovated. So there's going to be some dust, there's going to be some mess, at least in the interim time. But if you consider that we've never renovated, we've never cleaned out our house, then it gets messier and messier, and there are certain things that you have to deliberately look for in order to uncover. I mean, how many times have you gone to a cupboard that you haven't opened in years only to find something that you've always been looking for but was right there in front of you? So I'd highly encourage the seeking out of your purpose as a central focus in your life. There are so many different philosophies of Stoicism, Confucianism, Taoism, hedonism, and all of these ways of thinking about life and life purpose can work at different stages of your life. I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all thing, but I do know that as long as you're happy in seeking out what it is that makes sense to your life and your entire way of living, I think that's going to be the best for you, especially if it reaps the outcomes that you desire and you crave for. So all I can say is that you need to go through a process of reflection. I've also included a link somewhere here that will get you to my BITESEED reflection model that can help you to uncover and unpack a lot more, especially in times of duress. In the meanwhile, I hope this has been valuable. What I'd like you to do is to click the like and subscribe button and share this on your social media so that we can reach people and share with them information that might keep them share with them some information that might elevate them away from the stagnation that they feel when they are unable to uncover their purpose, so that collectively we can elevate people to a level beyond suffering and help them to take actions for abundance.